Welcome, Jason, to Metallium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Ingested, this new album, Ashes Light Steel, and more changes relating to the metal world. So, for this, how have you been during these crazy times? Because we started a pandemic 2 years ago, a war in Europe now is happening. So, a lot of things happen now.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. We've gone from not being able to tour for like a year to nearly 2 years, and then now we're straight back out on it and just constantly touring, writing music, releasing music, doing music videos. Like it's all go. It's non-stop now. Like it was scary because it was like the thing that we all thought would never go away got taken away from us all. So it was a bit of a shock, but it's we used the downtime to keep writing. We got our heads down and we created what I think is a fucking awesome album. So yeah, and now yeah, we're about to release it in like a week or so. November the 4th, Ashes Lie Still comes out through Metal Blade Records. It's our Metal Blade Records debut. And we're currently out on tour with Lorna Shore, Aborted, Angel Maker, Of Sulphur. The whole tour is pretty much sold out. I think there's one show that's not sold out on the entire tour, and it's very close to being sold out. So by the time it rolls round, it's definitely going to be sold out. So yeah, it's fucking nuts, mate. To be honest,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
great to be a part of it. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, one question that I love when I want to ask is because in Hesed probably is one of the first band that in 2019 that you will play for the first time deathcore in general the world, because a lot of bands has your influence from the first album Surprising of the boundaries of human suffering. I remember when you came with this album when other band Impending Doom, now the deathcore is well, have a lot of bands around the world. So how do you see now that stone on the deathcore scene now? Because surprising is a big stone for me, especially into the deathcore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going from strength to strength, isn't it? Like it's fucking unbelievable. I mean, like look at what Lorna Shore are doing right now. They're like one of the biggest bands of the moment, and it's fucking amazing to watch. It's like a new wave of deathcore is just washing over the planet, and yeah, it's great for everyone. It's great for all bands because what's the saying? A high tide raises all ships. So you've got all these fans that are listening to Lorna Shore, and then they go, "This is amazing. What else? What else is like this? What other music? What other bands are like this?" And then that filters down to all the other bands in the scene, and then everybody benefits. Like so, yeah, it's a massive resurgence. It's like I said before, I'm just fucking grateful to be a part of it. Like it's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and with this aspect, usually the band thinks that the last word, "Ashes Lies Still" in your case, is your best word today. Mostly, almost, I think, mostly common bands talking about our last word, the best word today. But a curious thing about this, or a counterproductive thing, according to this, is for the reviewers and the fan thinks that the your first album never. So you never got more than your first album, so according to reviewers, fans. So, because what do you think? How the band deal with this aspect of the reviewers, fans tell that the first album is the great word to date, and not perhaps the last album?
Well, I mean, it depends on. It's one of them things, isn't it? It's like it depends on when when that specific fan discovered the band. Because usually, if a fan discovers a band, it's whatever album is the one that they first listened to is usually the one that they'll fall in love with and they'll have the strongest connection with because that's what introduced them to a band. So for me, I mean, like, of course, you always get like people who are like, oh, this is my favorite album, this is my favorite album, oh, this is the best album you've ever done, or whatever. Like, and that's great. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm happy that you love that album so much. Like, whichever album it is, whether it's our first, our second, our third, whatever. Like, or even the new one. If that's the album you love, then I'm all for that. Because just because we're releasing new music, it doesn't mean that we're overwriting or deleting the old music. It's always going to be there. You can always listen to it. And if you love it, and even if you don't like any of the other albums, that's great as well. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just happy that you like whatever it is that you like that we put out. So for me, like when people go, "Oh, your first album is best," I'm like, "Great! I'm glad. I'm glad you love it so much. Go and listen to it. Blast it as fucking loud as you want.
Mm.
It's not going
Okay.
anywhere. It's always going to be there."
Okay, I remember when, I remember when the 2000s appears in 2005, 4, and 6, and 7. When, well, as I said in the first, when second question, when you are with the Impendulum, I think the first two bands into the deathcore. But as you create as one of creators into the deathcore scene nowadays, so how do you see, or how do you see this aspect that the deathcore is not an UK style created in UK, so not just in North America, because many people around the world thinks that the deathcore was created in US and not in UK.
Well, it's a worldwide thing, isn't it? It's like as soon as like one band comes out and then they're doing something like slightly new, and then it's like loads of other bands will follow suit because they'll be like, "Whoa, what the fuck's this?" Like, and bands inspire other bands. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it was specifically created in any one place. It was kind of like a whole worldwide movement. You had bands in the US, in the UK, in Europe, in Russia, like all over the place. So yeah, it's I think it's just a question of like inspiration. As soon as like one band gets traction, then that's what inspires like a whole new wave of young bands all doing crazy shit, and they just get crazier and crazier. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because like obviously when we started, like the technology and shit, like with regards to like studio and playing live and stuff like that, it was totally different to what like we're using now and what's available now. So it's
Hmm.
like things evolve. Do you know what I mean? And it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see. I love watching it. Like at
Mhm.
the moment, it's like a fucking
Okay.
vocals arms. Do you know what I mean? Like people
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
be the sickest, and it's fucking amazing because
Yeah.
healthy competition breeds excellence. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Onto this aspect you talk about, well, as you know, I love talking about people of the death metal stuff, from classic old death metal stuff, brutal death metal from Suffocation, etc., etc. Perhaps you hear this aspect that the deathcore is not a real thing. It's more like a studio thing. A lot of things, because you have a lot of edition, this kind of stuff. More, I think, but this is the way of the deathcore sounds. Not necessarily to do like editing a lot, this kind of stuff. But what is you think when a old death metal crusher gatekeeper from the 80s and 90s told you perhaps someday, and just that it's not death metal, it's more like a mainstream aspect. Death metal is Entombed, Bob the Angel. I love this stuff. What do you think about this aspect?
I would, for people who like try to gatekeep, I would just tell them to fuck themselves. I'd just be like, you don't own death metal. You're like, do you know what I mean? Death metal doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the fans. It belongs to the bands. It belongs to the scene and the people who created it. That's what it belongs to. So you can have whatever opinion you like, but it doesn't make it correct. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when people, if someone turned around to me and said, "Oh, Ingested ain't death metal," I'd just go, "Well, fuck you. Eat shit. I don't give a fuck what you think. As far as I'm concerned, it's death metal. So suck my dick." That's what I'd say to that.
Okay, well, now talking about from this talking about from this new album. It's talking about from this new album. You delayed. Well, you are in a row, because in 2020 you released one album where only gods may tread. Then the Disruption to next last year, and now Ashes Light. So you are creating musicians doing 3 albums in a row in 3 years. So now, how do you promote? Because we started a pandemic 2 years ago. You can't promote all albums like the
Yeah.
like the good way in 2020, 2021. But now you can. So how was this set list now promoting these 3 albums in a row? Perhaps you will focus more in the Ashes Light still.
Yeah. I mean, promoting the 2 albums we dropped during the pandemic, that was difficult. So we couldn't tour. So that took that out of the equation. So we had to think outside the box. So we did a live stream with called Dominion, which was a live show that we streamed live, and that was great. Like everybody really enjoyed that. Like we enjoyed doing it as well. Um, and we had to think outside the box on music videos as well, like how we were gonna do music videos in a time where you couldn't really go out and do music videos. So um, we we got a load of people that we knew in the scene and friends and fans and stuff to film themselves listening to one of our singles, and then I edited that down into a music video. So it was like one big long like reaction video that everyone filmed in lockdown, and that was quite interesting. But obviously now with Ashes Lie Still, the floodgates have opened. We're able to get back out on the road. So we've been playing shows all year. We've been playing festivals. We're doing this amazing tour with Lorna Shore at the moment, which is fucking phenomenal. We've got some Christmas shows at the end of this year. We've got a European tour with Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral, so that's going to be wild. And yeah, other than that, I mean, we're smashing out music videos. We're doing a music video for every single song on the album, which is it's a lot of work.
Yes,
But it's great. It's great fun. Like it's great fun. So yeah, we've got loads in the pipeline, and I'm just glad that shows are back. That we're able to tour. We're able to get out here and do what we love, what we were born to do. Because we can't do fuck all else. We've been doing this for like 17 years. We don't know how to do anything else. We're shit at everything else. So I'm glad we're able to carry on doing this.
yeah. So as I said, in 3 years, 3 albums. So do you think it's confusing for listeners because this aspect? So which, like perhaps saying one fan say, which album can listen now? The 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022. Even if we relate this aspect with a lot of bands are releasing albums every day, every month, per year. So now it's very difficult to get more attention. And with this aspect, 3 albums in a row, it has a negative aspect to the listeners because there's no here 3 in a row is very difficult now.
Mm. But we're creative machines, man. Like we're always writing music. Like we've got so much music. Like it's crazy. And the thing is, we're always experimenting with different shit on different albums. So we're always adding like new elements and new sounds and building what we want our sound to be. Like what our so we know what Ingested is baseline, but now we're just adding more and more and more to it with each album. And the sound's just getting bigger and bigger and more nasty and more heavier, but also more melodic, more atmospheric. So yeah, like there's no stopping us like creatively. We're just absolutely smashing it out. So yeah, and every album will be different.
Okay. Okay. So talking about now of the cover art, especially in general, since the surprise, the boundaries of human, all will be gods on there in your cover art. Gods, a lot of gods. Well, the second one's not. It's like a woman screaming in a white room. But the
Yeah,
second, the third one is gods there. The third one, well, the last one, gods. But now I think you changed completely the focus of the band because this cover art is really, really abstract thing. It's not like the previous ones. So
yeah.
now, why for you decide to change completely the cover art and not guts included?
Um, well, I think it started with um, our EP called The Void. Like the art on that was a bit abstract as well. Um, It was very simple, but it told a story. And then with Where Only Gods May Tread, again, that artwork was like pretty epic. It wasn't like the old gore stuff. Um, it was again, it's very atmospheric. It's set because what we want is we want the album cover to set the tone and the atmosphere for the music itself, so that when you pick that album up, you go, oh my god, like, and that is exactly what Ashes Lie Still is. That artwork perfectly encapsulates the feel, the emotion, and the sound of this new album. And David Simon's done an absolutely amazing job, like, because we were blown away when we first saw it. So yeah, I mean, it really does, because this is a very personal album to us. Like, all the lyrics in it, all the songs, they're about our personal experiences, like our dealings with loss, with pain, with addiction, with fighting our own personal demons and coming out the other side of it. And I think that really does encapsulate all of that in one image, one stark, memorable image.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest achievements that the Ingested has since all the time, as I said, you are one of the first bands talking about the deathcore in your music. But in this aspect, you are releasing your all albums through the big labels, Century Media, Unique Leaders, and now Metal Blade Records. So for a deathcore band, it's a great achievement that they always maintain in the top levels top metal labels. So how do you see this achievement to Ingested from the early days to now? And do you think with this aspect, do you think consider perhaps a mainstream band? Because with a lot of, I think a lot of people think that when a band enter to Century Media, to Metal Blade Records, it's not anymore a underground band. It's now a mainstream band.
Um, I think we're straddling. We're tiptoeing along the fence of the underground and then like the mainstream metal scene. I don't think we're there quite yet, but we're fucking heading there. We're gonna get there, come rain or shine. We'll claw our way there. Like, but yeah, I mean, signing to Metal Blade is a dream come true, like an absolute dream come true. Ever since we started this band, like 2006, even the band that we were before, when we started that in 2004, it was like, if you ever asked us as kids, like, what our dream label would be, it was always Metal Blade. It was always Metal Blade. We always felt like it would fit us and suit us the most. And now, 16, 17 years later, we're here. We're about to release our debut Metal Blade Records album. And it feels amazing. It feels absolutely sick. They've treated us so well. We've been so welcoming. And we feel like this is going to be our home for a long, long time. This is just like the beginning of a very fruitful relationship. I think we're going to create a lot of amazing things together.
Okay, so as one of your goals are accomplished now to enter the Metal Blade, do you think the band reached the top of the labels now? Perhaps you think to enter other label for the
Oh
future?
no, we're happy. We're 100% happy where we are. Like, I think, like I said, I think we're going to be here for a long, long time. This feels like home. It feels like a proper home. Like they have been, like I said, they've been so welcoming to us and they treat us so well. They help us out whenever we need it. They've been absolutely fantastic. So I couldn't ask for anything more. So yeah, this is going to be our home for a long, long time.
Well, we are, as you know, we are returning to the cyclic time. We are now when the people listen in just singles. So now returning to the 40s and 50s when the music just spread by singles, and that's now we are returning to these aspects. So for that, what single, what songs are capture the whole essence from this Ashes Light still for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. My personal favorite songs from the album are Ashes Lie Still, the title track, which is why we picked that as the title track. I think that perfectly encapsulates that song encapsulates the feel of the album. Like it's a very mournful, sorrowful album. It's heavy as fuck. It's brutal, but there's an underlying sadness to it, to be honest. But yeah, but it's not without hope. Do you know what I mean? It's not like everything's hopeless. It's like even when the world's at its bleakest, there's
Hmm.
always there's always a shred of hope. Like you can always come out of it the other side. Like I mean, we're living proof, man. We've been through some shit, like personally. Um, and yeah, like that's kind of what the album's about. But my personal favorite songs are Echoes of Hate, which is hard as fuck. That's got like a brutal fucking breakdown at the end of it, which I love. Um, and Sea of Stone is a really good song.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, what else? Trying to pick my favorite. It's hard because I like them all. Like
Yes,
All
yes.
Life Lost is cool. It's got Matt Heafy on it, which was again something a little bit out of our wheelhouse. But he smashed it, and the song's really cool. Um, from Hollow Words with Sven from Aborted. That's different again. That's something that we've never really done before. The pace of that song is very different, but it works, and it's a crushing song. Yeah, I'd probably say those are my favorites. Because otherwise I'm just going to sit here and name every single song on the album. So
Okay, okay, Jason, we are very close to in this interview. And for that, what are the future plans that the band has for this Ashes Light still? Perhaps more videos in common, perhaps European tours, North American tours, or who knows, next couple of years, a Latin American tour.
yeah, so we've got way more music videos. Like I said, we're doing a music video for every single song on the album. So we've got more of them coming. We're out on tour in the States at the moment with Lorna Shore. We've got some Christmas shows just before Christmas back in the UK. Then we've got the Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral tour in May and April. That's going to be wild as well. Other than that, I can't really say too much because we have got other plans, but I can't release information on those yet. But yeah, we're looking at coming over to Latin America as soon as possible. So that's going to be great. But again, can't say too much about that. But we are working on it.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
and
Mm.
we've got a busy year ahead of us. We've got loads more new music coming out, music videos, tours, fucking everything. Busy, 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 and I'm happy to fucking be in it.
Okay, well, hearing your tone of voice, so I see that you will play here in Latin America next year. So, well, I will see news. I will see news. I don't ask where, but I will see news. That's much better.
Well, make sure you come and say hello.
Okay, okay, to Mexico. Okay, nice to hear. So, as I said in the first question, talking about other aspects in general, as you know, two months ago, and on we gathering all the stuff in Metal and we talk about the artificial intelligence now is a huge presence in the music, in the arts in general, especially when we see now a software or a software are covers of painting the art now. So I think the covers, the E, this kind of aspect, when you put little descriptions with exactly works, and this machine creates a full art. So now with this aspect, the artificial intelligence is more present into the arts with the music, visual aspects, etc., etc. So how do you see now the music and the art in general will have more prime attention for the technology and the artificial intelligence in general?
Um, well, I don't know, man. I mean, like I've seen all these artificial intelligence like album covers and shit. And to be fair, I think some of them are pretty sick.
Yes, yes.
Some of them are pretty sick. Like, so I don't know. Maybe we'll look at that shit in the future and see what happens there. Like, but yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've been listening to like artificial intelligence, like creating like Nirvana songs and shit like that, and it's like it's crazy. Like, it's mad. It's totally mad. So maybe we're all gonna get replaced. I reckon that's gonna happen. All us human death metalers and deathcore bands, we're all gonna get replaced by robots. It's gonna be like fucking Terminator,
Yes,
Skynet, deathcore Skynet.
yes, of course, kind of. So something,
To
yeah,
send someone back in time.
yeah. Perhaps someday we'll see a death metal band just for software and playing old instruments and release it by Nuclear Blast Records.
I'd fucking go and see that. I'd pay money to see that shit.
Well, Jason, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me doing this
I
one.
did, yeah.
You are a terrific guy to know. You know,
It's
I
been
hope so. Okay, okay. Perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans, Metalerum followers?
I just want to say thank you for being a fan of our band. Like, we appreciate you so much. Like, I can't even put it into words. Our fans really do mean the world to us. Just keep blasting our music, keep supporting our band, and we will get over to you as soon as we can. We are working on it, and we will see you soon. Peace and love. Mwah. Thank you so much.